Hey, it's a Tuesday. It's Dominic D'Angelo of AdFreeShows.com, SEScoops.com, and BrassRingMedia.com. Check it out. Poppy got sloppy. I have a Poppy I'm drinking right now. And I am sloppy today because I forgot to send Robert the link. That's WE Creative _ish. Robert, how are you today? Good to see you. Happy Tuesday.
Happy Tuesday. Happy to be here. Thank you for holding down the fort yesterday while I was out. Strange had a tire blew on my car. So that was fun.
Yikes.
And I was stuck at a mechanic shop that specialized in the type of car that I have.
Were you like Bill Bixby on the side of the road with the Incredible Hulk?
No. I was thankfully I was steps away from an appointment that I was driving to, and I was able to pull into their parking lot and wait with some very nice people who were there. E says, "What day is Greg Gagne and Magnum TA episode?"
Not sure. I got to collaborate with them and figure that out. But we all have quite the episode because there's a lot of controversy and rumor and innuendo surrounding Powertown Wrestling. So Jim Cornette even talked about it. So we'll be addressing some of that stuff this week at some point. So stay tuned. Let's give a shout out to some folks. Triple E did his was up, Robert. And then Jeff Hettinger says, "Hello, R9. Just remember it's okay to go to therapy to get over your fear of Al Gore." Oh, that was in reference to yesterday. We had Al Gore phobia, Robert. Talking about that. Trey Owen says, "Hello, R9. The Wrestling Old Head says, "Yeah, Yeet could have been an exciting tag team name, and now they are sworn enemies. It's like Jay and Knight." Oh, very clever. Very clever. Robert, you're very clever. Did you think Raw was clever last night?
I thought Raw was a 2.5-hour television program that aired on Netflix.
So par of the course right now.
That was a 2.5-hour television show that aired on Netflix. Rarely do I watch Raw these days and wish that I could just fast forward. Mm-hmm. There were definitely lots of parts during that episode where I would have loved to have been able to fast forward.
Yeah. I know we're in the kind of doldrums of wrestling booking and stuff. It's like, SummerSlam's over, so we're getting into fall. Football's here, everything like that. So there's a lot of distractions going on. But yes, you think with the talent that they have in WWE, the elements and stars that come into play, and the wide scope that they have in tandem, you'd be able to tell something a little bit more engaging to keep the fans going, I think.
So I think, number one, I just realized I'm living my own damn it Dom life. I took all my Raw notes and I realized they're on my other laptop in the other room, not on my phone. Usually I have them backed up on my phone. I don't. So I'm flying off memory from last night. I think part of the challenge right now with last night's episode of the show is it does feel a little perfunctory. It's your main event was LA Knight and Bronson Reed. Mm-hmm. So on paper, you're up against Monday Night Football, and that's what you're pulling out as the big guns. And we know that, Clash in Paris was what it was. They just kind of had to get through. We know WrestlePalooza on paper, very strong show. It looks like we're going to get this John Cena Brock Lesnar match. So we know that they're going to get a lot of major eyeballs. We knew that there was going to be that tag loser gets divorced mixed tag match. And that became official here. We knew we're getting the Stephanie Vaquer Io Sky match. And it sounds like, I don't know what was going on with Stephanie, but a lot of the show probably had to get rewritten because she was not there.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to give this show a little bit of a pass. But when I say, boy, I wish I could have fast forwarded, it was a lot of what they were doing with the women that still just feels so tone deaf and strange.
I agree with you, Robert. There's some cool elements for sure. I think it kind of speaks. So I don't know if you feel the same way here, and we'll talk about AJ a little bit more in depth, but her and Becky, that seems like a really, really hot act right now. Everything else feels all muddled, confusing, and in the same tone. It's not connecting with the fans. And no offense to anybody, and I hope people don't take this the wrong way, but like the language dynamic when it comes to Asuka, Io Sky, and all that stuff, it's a very big disconnect, I think, for the mainstream audience overall. And they're not really doing anything about it.
I think the biggest takeaway that I had across the entire show is they really need Paul Heyman.
They definitely need Paul Heyman.
You know, it's like the opening segment with Jey Uso coming out with Jimmy. They were doing like 10 things at once. It was, hey, the Usos are back. Well, that's exciting. Let's have that moment. Let's celebrate that moment. But then it was immediately followed up with a Braun Breaker Bronson Reed promo where Braun Breaker keeps falling into this like scrappy do, like let me at him thing, and they hold him back, which is so it's just weird. It doesn't really make a lot of sense. And then LA Knight coming out in a baseball cap, no offense to you right now in your baseball cap, he'd look like just another dude.
Yeah. Well, I am just another dude. LA Knight is supposed to be a star, and yeah, you have to kind of make those changes to make yourself feel like Marty. Marty's a star.
Marty's a star. Yeah,
Marty's definitely a star.
Yeah, there was some Thunder dude wants a little.
I'm kind of okay with the dynamic between the two Brawns and the Usos. I think that's kind of fun for the moment. But yeah, I think from a structural standpoint too, it did feel like, hey, yeah, we get these moments of the Usos back together and stuff like that. And then it's like that conventional WWE formula that's been around even since the Vince era, where like somebody's about to say something and they get cut off right away.
Which is fine because it's like Jay and Jimmy had their little shtick, and they wanted to do their stuff, and that was playful and fun and fine. And that's really all the audience needed. We're going to get Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed versus the Usos. It's the first time we're seeing the Usos team up in a while. They're going up against, the number twos for the biggest heel on Raw. All that works. It'd be better if you had Paul Heyman there. But LA Knight coming out just muddies things in a way where they feel like they have to like protect LA Knight and make him feel relevant and important. And they're teasing the tension between him and Jey Uso, where I don't think anybody wants there to be a payoff to that. Now, I may be mistaken, but I'm not really excited at the proposition of Jey Uso turning heel and going after LA Knight, or them just setting up this like rivalry of guys who hate each other, because I don't think the audience views them as equals.
I think it would be very strange to turn Jey Uso heel, like especially against LA Knight.
That's the other part of this. If Jey Uso was so lucrative and valuable to this company that they called an audible, and now it's on Unreal, so I'm not telling tales out of school of anything that may have ever been shared with at any point in time. Like the plan for a long time was not Jey Uso. It was, we're going to go with CM Punk and Gunther, and we're going to tell that story. And then when they saw the way that Jey was getting the crowd reactions he was getting, the organic nature in which the audience was supporting him, the sales of the Yeet merch that was seen all around just in regular real life, not just at wrestling shows. Yeah, we're going to run with this guy and we're going to make him a big deal. And when you do these teasing heel moments, the tension at the beginning, the spear to LA Knight to end the show, you're doing this in a way where you're risking that guy staying a babyface, and you have to be okay with that decision. So clearly somebody in WWE is like, you know what? If the crowd turns on Jey, so be it. I don't know that I would make him as expendable as they are.
No, I'm with you. I think there's more value if you're doing a Jey and LA Knight feud to have LA Knight be the one to turn heel ultimately, because I think he fits that mold a little bit better than that babyface role. So,
and this is again sort of, I don't want to get so insider booking on this that I'm like a snake eating its own tail. But if you turn LA Knight, you're still going to have a contingent of the crowd that just likes saying, yeah. And because they like saying, yeah, they're going to confuse liking somebody's catchphrase with liking them. And then you still run the risk of Jey getting a somewhat more muted babyface reaction. So if you're going to turn LA Knight, you have to turn LA Knight in such a way where he's not dealing with Jey Uso anymore. Because then you still have dueling chants, and that's confusing to an audience.
Robert, wouldn't you run into that same issue though if you turn Jey heel too? Because he's eating.
I absolutely think that's part of where my confusion with Raw is. I don't see any real benefit in this teasing of you sound just like Roman. What story are we telling? Because let's take this down that path. if Jey Uso were to turn heel, his direction forward is either joining the Vision, in which case he's not the 1A heel.
Nope.
You still have Seth there as the guy. And as long as Seth is the champion, Jey can't go after the world title. Or Jey turns heel as his own man. And then he's feuding with Jimmy and Roman? We've seen Jimmy versus Jey. No one wants to see that again. And if Jimmy Uso, if you heel Jey Uso feuds with Roman Reigns, I don't know anybody that's clamoring for that, especially given Roman's limited schedule. It feels like an odd, it's almost like they got bored and they're just like, hey, what if we did this, when there was a pretty clear linear path forward?
Right. Well, something that's kind of unclear maybe too, when you've talked about it here earlier, is the women's division. We had a match between Lyra Valkyria and Raquel Rodriguez. Raquel Rodriguez gets the definitive win against Lyra. It looks like, I said this yesterday, Robert, but it looks like Raquel Rodriguez is getting a little bit more of a significant push after the feedback she got from Kevin Nash about working more big man style. What do you think about this?
Look, I've gone on record that I was a Diesel mark as a kid.
Mm-hmm.
And I've never met Kevin. I don't want to say anything bad about Kevin. It's about the most obvious feedback you can give to Raquel Rodriguez.
Sure.
Hey, you're taller than a lot of the other women. You should probably wrestle like you're taller than a lot of the other women. It's not like he's saying, it's not like he went to her and was like, you got to start doing moonsaults.
I think, though, Robert, that the modern mindset today of today's wrestler is not thinking about big man, big working that style, because it's such a forgotten, quote unquote, lost art, so to speak. I think so. I think even the obvious being there is not
obvious. Style, it's tough. And the big man style is tough because they're all huge.
Mm-hmm.
Like Drew McIntyre is a giant of a man, and he does not seem like a giant of a man. Randy Orton is a giant of a man. So for you to be one step bigger than them, you get into that Omos territory, and it's the crowd is kind of like, yeah, we've seen it. On the women's side, we have not seen a lot of significant height disparity where you're going, oh man, that's wild. I know there's that girl. I keep seeing it all over my Facebook. I don't know who she was. She worked like a Ring of Honor show. She's like 6'4". She's a volleyball player. She joined like Arya Davari's group on Ring of Honor. And then I keep seeing her get posted all over the place. I'm like, yeah, that's someone who it's like, oh, you see her. That's interesting. Megan Bain is someone who, from a physicality standpoint, you're like, that's different. Beth Phoenix, back in the Divas era, was presented differently because of her size. But then you look at like Michelle McCool, was very tall, but was never really portrayed as being a giant.
Right.
So it's very much to the person. I think Lyra Valkyria had a lot of momentum, and then it seems to have gotten stalled. But we've been getting those Bailey I'm possessed videos where she's like building up to a feud with Lyra. So why are we beating Lyra? The women's division has been dealt a couple of odd hands of late, namely Liv Morgan going down with an injury, which was not really expected. Naomi cashing in and winning the women's title only to announce her pregnancy. You know, they definitely benefited from AJ coming back.
Yes.
But outside of AJ and Becky, it's kind of like, well, we just can't keep giving it to Rhea. And with no Bianca to step in right now, it's a little bit of like, we have all this talent. Even Stephanie, like I feel like if Stephanie Vaquer was on that Raw and her and Io had whatever the contract signing was going to be, it felt like it was building up to them uniting against the Kabuki Warriors. And then we probably would have gotten a banger of a tag match. Instead, we got Asuka versus Nikki Bella. And contrary to what Dom has been texting nonstop, Nikki is not the second coming of Bryan Danielson.
Man, yeah, you were not supposed to share all that, Robert. That was private correspondence. But yeah, I mean, Robert, yeah, I'm like, it is a very muddied waters kind of thing when it comes to the women's division outside of Becky and AJ. But let's talk about Becky and AJ. What did you think about AJ Lee's return promo? Did she hit the right notes for you? And is this feud hitting the right note for you?
I mean, you saw the segment.
Mm-hmm.
It certainly seemed like it was a banger.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah, from my perspective, it was a unique kind of return promo. Obviously, a great deal of the focus was her actual outside of ring life and her talking about that and therapy getting two chants in Milwaukee and then Becky even leaning into that. So I thought it was definitely the most engaging aspect of the show for a show that was pretty part of the course outside of the big AJ Lee return.
In a way, it was like they made you wait to get to that part of the show. But by that point in time, the show had lost so much momentum.
Sure.
And yes, cheers to Milwaukee for chanting for therapy choice. Milwaukee is the only city to have elected 3 socialist mayors.
Is that really?
Have you never seen Wayne's World?
No. Well, I've seen Wayne's World like once or twice, but it never, again, like Scrubs, Wayne's World, a little overrated.
Thank you for tuning in for the final episode ever, Rumor and Innuendo. Are you insane?
No, I think I'm spot on with Wayne's World. I think that is severely
I'm sorry, but Milwaukee is Algonquin for the good land. And it seems like AJ's punch landed, which is why Becky had a black eye.
Yes.
Hey, look, AJ Lee was out there having fun.
Mm-hmm.
It made me feel like I was a million years old when she's like, if you want to know why your millennial parents are so excited.
Yeah, that hit.
I was like, wait a minute. And then I was like, wait, I haven't seen AJ Lee in 10 years wrestle. Oh, damn.
This is sobering.
Even the video package of her stuff, it was like a lot of like, oh, yeah, there's Caitlyn.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
Big fan of Caitlyn. She was great. Celeste Bonham, very funny woman. She actually lived in Boca for a while. Super nice woman. But it's wild the way that time works.
Sure is. It's very surreal.
It does not feel like it's 10 years since AJ was gone. She's got a natural connection to the audience. Becky has a natural connection. Becky keeps bringing up Sports Illustrated, which is the funniest thing in the world to me. Because ever since Justin Barrasso left Sports Illustrated, it's been it's lost any of its relevance.
It's just a name now, it seems like, right? It's like, Sports Illustrated is reporting this. But yeah, you think about how big Sports Illustrated was back when we were kids, like getting
the only booking note that I would have is she absolutely next week needs to come out and use as a weapon a football phone.
Oh my gosh, yes.
I want the Sports Illustrated football phone used as a weapon. It's clear the 4 of them are having fun. And that's the part of it that really translates. Whereas the rest of it does feel a little bit like, where are we going with this? I'm surprised that one of the other kind of bright spots for Raw is Dominic Mysterio. And he was in such a muted performance on this show. It was that little backstage Judgment Day segment for the most part.
Yep.
That I get we're teeing up the AAA show, but Judgment Day have been all-stars of Raw for so long that not really using them to its fullest was a little disappointing.
Yeah, they've been the consistent aspect of Raw for a couple years now, and I think Dom is such a highlight for the show. It's unfortunate when you don't get him as much as you probably should on a weekly basis, and I think this week's episode was a good example of that. Robert, I do want to, before I forget, what do you think about Joe Tessitore taking the lead on Raw?
Okay? Look, I try not to get fired up here. It's a very relaxed.
Get fired up, Robert.
I'm in between. I've been in so many different meetings throughout the course of the day, and still have more meetings. That I was just like, this is my moment of zen, if you will. The internet. I don't know if you're aware of this. The internet. It's dial up to America Online.
We did talk about Al Gore, so a little bit. I'm a little bit aware.
You can. Oh God, what's the line from Jane Silent Bob Strike Back? People use the internet to bitch about movies and trade pornography. The internet has the memory of Dominic D'Angelo, because last night Michael Cole was trending worldwide on Twitter with people saying how much they miss Michael Cole. We've all been replaced with pod people. This is where you truly are in the darkest timeline, and I'm scared. Joe Tessitore's the best.
He's the best.
And the whole reason for the switch. This is the switch within the switch. Wade Barrett has not been suspended or fired because of comments he made about Nikki Bella on a pre-show. He had time off. He's taking his time off. The dude went to go see Oasis, which I'm sure was lovely to hear Wonderwall.
I love brothers getting back together.
You never do that hand gesture again. I love Wonderwall. It's a beautiful song. Champagne Supernova, also fine. We knew he was going to be off TV. Joe Tessitore has a day job as the lead announcer for ABC's SEC football coverage. That takes place on Saturday. When you do the Saturday game, you get to that city on Friday. You meet with the team. You're doing interviews. You're doing game prep. You're going to practices. You are not available Friday night to go do SmackDown and then jet off to wherever you are. That was the issue Pat McAfee was facing for a while.
Right.
So Tessitore doing Monday Night Raw, that's where he started. The whole reason they switched him was because Michael Cole was like, I should be on Netflix. And then they switched him.
Look, he's leaps and bounds better than Michael Cole. He just adds that sports like gravitas to it all. Him calling that AJ Styles and Grande Americano match, like that ending where he's like flipping out about the Styles clash and the finish of it all, it made AJ feel like it added to his legacy. Like
made that match more interesting. Look, that the El Grande Americano stuff is also one of those things where it's like, I just really like Ludwig Kaiser.
Yeah.
And it's like, I feel like he had some momentum going when they were turning him into a version of Tommaso Ciampa's old Sicilian psychopath character.
Right.
Where he was just this bloodthirsty, vicious, like, I don't care about anything. I'm going in for the kill. And it was awesome. And he's doing a great job as El Grande Americano. But I don't necessarily need to see this person in that particular role. It's not the highest and best use. I think Daniel Day-Lewis would be amazing voice acting on Bluey. I don't need to see Daniel Day-Lewis voice acting on Bluey. Actually, now that I say it,
that'd be kind of good.
Kind of want to. I just looked over; it was on the mute on TV and to the side of me. But I wouldn't mind seeing that.
They are making a Bluey movie, apparently.
I saw. Oh, trust me, it's on the calendar. Where, look, I will be there. IMAX day one ish.
IMAX.
I'm bringing a sign. I'm putting on my Bluey shirt. You haven't watched Bluey, Dom.
I've watched Bluey. My niece.
It's a delightful show that you wouldn't think that you would get a nice children's program that suddenly is turning into like, oh, the aunt can't have children. She's barren. Oh, wow. Why am I crying watching a children's cartoon?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's rough. Dre Owen says we need the real power couple match: Seth and Becky versus Ludwig and Tiffy time.
That might be on tap at some point or another.
Does Tiffany Stratton still wrestle? I feel like they haven't used her in quite some time.
Yeah. I don't know.
Then they're like teasing like this again. Her and Jade is a feud. It's like, yikes.
Yeah, and I think that speaks to what you were saying earlier too. How screwed up the women's division kind of is right now on both shows.
I think it needs to sit and map this out and see where it's going. It feels like Charlotte may be injured. I know they've been kind of like, oh, she wasn't cleared. So you've lost the Charlotte Alexa Bliss duo that they've been building up. It's like Chelsea and her group are reliably entertaining, but they do tend to be somewhat directionless. Julia is fantastic, but they've saddled her with that woman's her name's already escaped me. She's so forgettable. They brought her in once as like the Raw. She was going to be the assistant to the GM, and then nothing ever occurred with her.
Tatum.
I don't know what Tatum. I don't think
Tatum.
Is there someone on the roster named Tatum?
Paxley?
I don't know her name. She carries a purse.
Okay. Yeah,
and it's not even.
Who you're talking about.
By the way, if you're going to have this is Hunter. If you're going to have a woman come out to the ring and carry a purse, spend the money, make it a Birkin. Like, let's really like step it up here.
What kind of purse is she carrying right now? Is it Coach?
It's not enough for people who are going and looking. Use some of that Maybelline money to get for the sponsorship and shell it out and get a nice Birkin.
And that's got to be a gimmicked purse too. You got to make it like have like a lead ball in the bottom of it or something. Hey, Lou, real quick, says I get to use Testator's voice playing Fight Night Champions, Testator and Teddy Atlas on commentary. That was good stuff. Were you a boxing game fan?
Please don't do those hand gestures again. I've never, outside of Mike Tyson's Punch, I don't think I've ever played a boxing game, and I worked in boxing.
Yeah.
But never played. I was not a big game. I was whatever the WWE game was.
Mm-hmm.
That
They've
was
had
my
several.
that was my stalking horse. Madden,
Yes.
Tiger Woods,
Mm-hmm.
and then like Grand Theft Auto 3 and Vice City or whatever.
That's so funny you bring that. Literally, Robert, this morning I was thinking about Grand Theft Auto, and I was like, I kind of want to bring up Grand Theft Auto today on the show for some reason. But you did.
I'm glad I could be here. Look, when you just want to sit back and relax, spending a few hours killing hookers it's a nice thing to do in between class. You know, it's a nice thing to do every Monday through Friday at noon Eastern, Dom.
What's that?
Catch Rumor and Innuendo live on a plethora of platforms, including the WWE Creative _ISH account. I don't know why you just did jazz hands there.
I do it all the time. You must not look
at Dominic D'Angelo X account, the at SE Scoops X account, and on YouTube on Rumor and Innuendo and ad-free shows, and wherever you listen to us or catch us, drop a review, give a little 5-star situation here, help the algorithm, help the number, help the show grow. We love to have more folks who tune in for the Rumor and Innuendo. So on behalf of the man who wears a hat like a bigger star than LA Knight, Dominic D'Angelo, I'm Robert Karpolis. Best of luck in your future endeavors.
I'm going to say it. Yeah.